Hey, what's up? Mike D, bass player for Killswitch and Ray Vision and Overcast.
I wanted to make it down for the Albany date, but I wasn't able to. I heard it was a really fun tour.
It was. That date didn't happen for us.
Oh, right, because someone had an injury.
Brian was dancing to Sworn Enemy, which is suspect already because there's always fists being thrown. And this was in Albany, which is even more suspect that you maybe want to just hold off. Sworn Enemy was the band right before Ray Vision. They played their last note. Brian was done dancing, turned around and caught an elbow in the nose, and it pretty much flattened his nose across his face. So we didn't end up playing that show. And the name of our record is We Ain't Leaving Till You're Bleeding, and that's pretty much what happened.
It's a really cool record.
Thank you. It's fun, just a lot of fun. Hanging out with old friends, playing music that just comes naturally.
Yeah. It's cool because, I mean, your first official band, Overcast, had some thrash influence, but it had a lot of different influences. Whereas Ray is almost like a pure expression of one Overcast influence, the crossover, the thrashcore. Yeah. Talk briefly about the bands that inspired you to create Ray Vision and the bands that, I guess, that sound is kind of inspired by.
Ray Vision was created through the love of New York hardcore. Cro-Mags, Leeway, Agnostic Front, Madball, Judge, stuff like that. Bad Brains is a huge influence on that band too, and we wanted to keep that pure style. Ray Vision just came through the love of New York hardcore, Agnostic Front, Leeway, Madball, Cro-Mags specifically, trying to develop a band that grew up in that moment when hardcore blurred the lines between hardcore and metal, and people were kind of up in arms and didn't know what the heck was going on. But all of a sudden, you know, we have nowadays metalcore and even metal for that matter really blurs those lines completely, and it's not really even questioned. Back then it was, and that was the style that I liked. The style that was like just pushing that envelope more than you would think a hardcore band would push an envelope.
Crossover is one of my favorite styles. That's, you know, that I guess what predisposed me to liking Overcast so much in the 90s, and then, you know, got on board with Killswitch, you know, on a demo right away. I know those intersections. You know, I have this, you know, radar for those perfect intersections of, you know, metal and hardcore. And I think the same thing affected, or I guess hit post-hardcore, the post-hardcore genre leads into another, One Living Witness, stuff like that were not so appreciated in the 90s. But now they have these cult followings that are going back, you know, when next generations are rediscovering those records, or discovering them for the first time. It seemed just how genius they were. You know, the Handsome record, Quicksands kind of be back together, stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was all stuff we grew up listening to. It was all new back then. There was so many people doing things that just no one had ever done before. And now it seems like old hat. And a lot of people didn't get it. Really didn't understand what was happening. And like you said, now you look back on it as like actually some of the glory times of that type of music. This type of music that was going in a completely different direction than you might expect any music to go in. And keeping it real, keeping it as people playing music on stage. No tape decks, no, you know, just a lot of bands these days playing to tape, or maybe having a keyboardist play that's not actually on stage. You know, just it was real music played by real people that could be in the crowd and just get up on stage and play, and then get back in the crowd and watch the next band.
Yeah.
Camaraderie back then was a bit different.
I mean, it's, I guess, kind of how it was on the on this Sworn Enemy Ray tour, right? I mean,
absolutely. Everyone was super helpful, nice. We all roadied for each other. We all kind of shared equipment, and it was very much a throwback to those old days when everyone was trying to help each other out, just because it was a style of music that not everyone understood, not everyone got. So the people that did get it were in this like exclusive club. We're all friends because we all get it. We all understand what we're trying to do. We're not crazy as everyone is calling us.
Maybe some more, you know, practical advice than just, you know, spinning an album as therapeutic as that can be, I'm sure.
Right. The only thing that's helped me is just saying to myself, things can only get better. There's no way it can get worse than what it is now. It can only get better. And you know, you got the razor at your wrist, and you're like, fuck it, I don't care anymore, things are over. But if you just wait that extra day, something cool is going to happen. All of a sudden, I'm in a band called Killswitch Engage. And they're like, wow, if I had done that a long time ago, all this great stuff would never have happened. Overcast would never have happened. I'm speaking in particular about another time where I was really hurt by a girl. She told me that she was going to fuck my best friend. So I lost 2 friends at once, which is really pretty tough to do. But I wrote an entire record over it. The first first Overcast record, Flight Ambition to Kill, is, Expectational Dilution is actually all about that relationship and how sour it went, but how there's absolutely no way to go but up. If you're at the bottom of the barrel, you know, what else could happen?
Yeah, yeah. God Below. A band who you did a lot of design for back in the day.
Yeah, I knew those guys pretty well. Dan was a good friend of mine, the singer, and he used to live with one of our roadies, that Tom Dice, that roadied for us for 10 years. Our first roadie ever, and since he's not a roadie anymore, he became overwhelmed with being away all the time. He felt like he was a visitor at home, not a resident. So it was just time to call it quits. And, you know, tour life is that way. But God Below, on the other hand, just an amazing band that no one really understood. They changed into Brand New Sin and kind of added a bit more of a radio-friendly element, and people still didn't really understand what was going on. But for the people in the know, man, that was some pretty intense music. Really, really cool stuff. Very groundbreaking.
What you thought they had at the time, you know, your experience working with them, and I guess what they meant to you at the time.
I had always loved the band, and they were very much in the underground scene as like this really sought-after, cool band. And they were extremely easy to work with as far as doing graphic design for them. I talked to Dan a lot, and we kind of had like minds as far as what he wanted to see and what I thought the band should go for as far as graphic design images went. So it was really, really simple stuff. I don't know.
I mean, their music, swamp metal.
As far as their music goes, they were really one of the first hardcore bands that I had heard that really saturated themselves in that southern rock sludge realm. And I think since then, a lot of, Santa Sombre, a lot of Syracuse bands latched onto that sort of feel, and it transformed Syracuse into this sort of southern rock mecca for hardcore bands. But this all was due to God Below and their laying the groundwork for all that sort of thing.
What do you think could have happened to God Below had they continued on past 01?
It's always hard to say. I mean, it's not, the vocals were definitely not something that the average person could latch on to. You know, they were very this. But that's what their charm was, that they were just getting out aggression rather than writing radio-friendly hits.
I mean, had they had singing in the background, let's say had BNS and God Below actually become one, had God Below become almost like a heavier BNS without all the tailoring and all that, I mean, I think they could have been as big as any of these bands here.
I think so too. Yeah. But like you said, there was definitely a hint of, what do we do? I don't know. You know, there's no one. If there's no one driving the ship's not going to last long in the water.
Yeah, that's it.
That happens too.
Yeah.
No offense, but it's just the way it is. unfortunately, I was that guy in every band that I've been in. Very DIY, very knowing what needs to come next, or that we need to play as many shows as possible. It doesn't matter if we're getting paid. You just need to get in front of people, and that's it. Work ethic. A lot of laziness back then. Yeah, that could be the reason why some of these bands never caught on, because people were pretty darn lazy at that time too. There was a lot of struggle too. I mean, you'd play so many shows to like 15, 20 people that when it came time to actually do some real work, you're just like, no one really cares, so why should I have to do anything? Mm-hmm. What's the point?
I mean, I've seen, old shows of yours. I mean, I attended old shows of yours, on the first album cycle, even the second album cycle, before Jesse had left, and people were only starting to get what you guys were doing, or starting to get into it. And, you guys had the courage to stick it out, as did bands like Unearthed and Shadows. And, Santa Sangre, Tom Dice, great band.
Yeah, the singer was out at that Syracuse show as well from Santa Sangre. I hadn't seen him in, since that tour. 2002, I think.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago.
He looks the same, and you look pretty young yourself too.
Oh, thanks. Shaving beard. I'll do that to you.
Yeah. What's the secret?
What is the secret? Having a good job? I don't know. Playing what you want, doing what you want. Taking the bull by the horns and making life what you want it to be, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, that you guys definitely do. That's for sure,
I know some ugly people that do that too, so maybe that's not it.
Issues or books people should pay attention to,
Well, like we already said, the new Death Ray Vision is out on Bullet Tooth Records. It's an LP. 12 songs with my buddy Brian Fair from Overcast and Shadows Fall, and Pete Cortez from Overcast and Seamless, Colin Conway from Kanai, and Mr. Zach Wells from Razors in the Night, which is a Boston band. Having a good time doing that. Check it out. You might like it. It's short bursts of energy. We're not trying to throw too many things in the realm, just trying to have fun and play some exciting hardcore / metal. Jay Fitzgerald from Overcast, he's got a new band called Akaro. They're a Boston-based band, very death metal, hardcore band. Awesome. I recommend checking them out. They're so good. They seem like a big band on a small stage. Very, very exciting and fun to watch that band. New Killswitch has been out for almost a year now, so don't buy that. And it's going to be some Overcast shows happening soon too.
Who are they playing with Overcast? Who are these bands?
Yeah, Overcast got asked to do the Section 8 reunion show. Section 8 was kind of like a lower level Life of Agony type band. Really, really cool guys that never quite made it out of Albany, unfortunately, but an amazing band. They used to play with Overcast all the time, and we were excited to play with those guys. I believe Stigmata is on the bill as well. It would have been cool if maybe Dissolve or Candiria was playing any of those shows, and two other bands that Overcast used to play with a lot back in the day. It's really sad to see all these great bands that never quite made it, but there was still a noise that they created, and it definitely helped form metal and hardcore today as well. Even though people don't know it, it did help a lot.
So yeah, thanks again, Mike, for your time.
Absolutely, thank you.
Cool, bro.